Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Dr. KK's HCFI, I welcome all of you to our 70 weekly webinar. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our co-host for today's webinar, Mrs. Geeta Gangwani, Principal Bal Bharti Public School, Rohini, Dr. Pratibha Kohli, Principal Maharaja Agar Singh Model School, Pitampura, Ms. Charu Baveja, TGT Social Science, SD Public School, Pitampura. Now I invite Mrs. Geeta to say a few words.
Yeah. A very hearty welcome to all for joining this late afternoon for a session on a very, very pertinent topic, non-violent communication. I hope we have our speaker and moderator with us, Nana.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will be moderating.
Yeah, I know. Because I didn't see them, so I thought I'll just check with this for once.
Yeah.
So a very hearty welcome to Miss Brijal Bose, our speaker for the day. Ms. Bose is a counselor, a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and a pranic healer. She is the founding member of Nonviolent Communication Trust. Ma'am does the noble job of helping clients, including children, to live a life of wholeness through one-to-one sessions as well as workshops for self-exploration and healing. Such a noble job she is into, ma'am, and we look really forward to listening from you. I also welcome the moderator for the session, Ms. Naina Agarwal. Ms. Naina Agarwal Ahuja, who is a trustee of Dr. KK's Heart Foundation of India and the founder of the Talking Point Communications, a leading integrated PR and communication agency in India, servicing clients across the domains of startups, healthcare, technology, FMCG, education, social lifestyle, and entertainment. For her exceptional contribution and work in the domain of PR, Ms. Nana has been conferred several awards, including the PR Moment 30 Under 30 Award in 2018, IMA Distinguished Service Award Campaign India Young PR Professionals Award, and the Edugali Women PR Leaders Award. Ms. Nana has a master's degree with distinction in international public relations from the Cardiff University and a bachelor's degree along with also with distinction in political science from the prestigious Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University. Ms. Nana, we welcome you and looking forward for a great enriching session. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Pratibha, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. And it is wonderful to connect again with everyone through Heart Care Foundation of India. With great reverence to Dr. KK Agarwal and remembering him fondly for his wonderful sessions, we gather again today for a very, very interesting session on non-violent communication. When we are teaching, learning online these days, communication and more so non-violent communication is very, very significant, and it can create the quality of connection in which everyone's needs can be met through compassions. On this afternoon, we welcome Ms. Naina Agarwal Ahuja, Principal Geeta Gangwani, Bal Bharti Public School, Rohini, and we also welcome Ms. Charu Baveja, who is a social science teacher with SD Public School. And we also welcome students, parents from Bal Bharti Public School, Rohini, from SD Public School, Pitampura. And we also welcome students, teachers, parents from Maharaja Agar Singh Model School, CD Block, Pitampura. And I'm sure there are going to be so many takeaways from this session, because communication is most important in teaching learning process. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Charu.
Jai Shri Krishna. A very warm good evening to everyone present in the webinar. And today I am having a flood of memories because these kind of webinars bring back that phase when Dr. KK Agarwal we will lighten our lives with his humor, with his talks, and with his advices. We would be eagerly waiting, and especially the students. He was a man, he was a legend. He had touched so many lives, and there is not a single day when we don't miss him. But as he said, the show must go on. So we are carrying the legacy and fulfilling his dreams. Miss you every day, sir. Lots and lots of love. And we are taking the dreams that you have given us for the final destination. I am feeling very blessed to have Miss Nana Agarwal with us today because I believe somebody who's so beautiful, hardworking, and full of integrity can actually understand what the future generation needs. She gives her expertise to many startups in all the spheres, and her hard work has gotten her lot of applause, and of course the many prestigious awards like PR Moment 30 Under 30 Award, and she has also lent her hand in her clients all over India with her experience, what she has got from her international overseas education. Being an alumni of LSR, it itself is a throne which she is giving to the future startup. And I'm sure she's going to make a lot of difference to the future corporate world and the work. These days, we are having online classes. We are having online teaching from last 1.5 years. And over the period, students have got a free access to technology. 20, 30 years back, it was only the classroom teaching. So the students were getting mature according to their age. That is the slow process. But today, because over a sex of knowledge, technology, laptops, mobile phones, social media, the students are getting over mature before time. And that puts aggression, temper issues, foul language, communication gap somewhere in the personality. And obviously, that's going to affect their whole life, whether it is academic or non academic. It is the need of the hour to sit with them, make them learn, counsel them how to have non violent communication, how to speak well, that you touch the heart of other people so that they warm up to you, how to make yourself a calm, collected, and a contented person, and at the same time keeping your opinion across the table. So I think in today's webinar, many youngsters are going to learn a lot from Ms. Bose. Ms. Bose, we welcome you in today's webinar. And ma'am, the good work you are doing of being a healer, of being a counselor to the future generation is really, really something our children need. Let's hope this phase gets over, this difficult and challenging times get over, we go back to normal self. But till that time comes, we have to prepare that guard for our students so that they know what to speak, when to speak, how to speak, and what vocabulary, what language they need to express themselves. So I am really honored to have all you dignified people in this warm evening. And I hope our students, our little angels, our future in India will go back today from this webinar a learned and a much better person. Over to you, Miss Nana.
Thank you so much, Charu ma'am, Pratibha ma'am, and Geeta ma'am. I'm so happy to have Ms. Peeraj Bose here with us today. Nonviolent communications is something that was very close to Dr. Agarwal's heart as well. He used to always say that, okay, so I'm a cardiologist, I'm a physician. What is violent communication is if someone says Dr. Agarwal is the best physician in India, versus if I go ahead and say that, in my opinion, Dr. Agarwal is the best physician in India. So that is the differentiation he used to give between violent and non-violent communications in his description. And his explanation to that was just the fact that if I'm saying that I am the best, someone else will come and say, no, but I don't think you are the best. Versus if I'm giving an opinion that I think I am the best or I think this person is the best, then it's my opinion and I'm entitled to that opinion. So that was really how he used to describe violent and non-violent communication. And this is definitely a tribute to him to be taking up this topic with none other than Ms. Peeraj Bose. So without waiting further, I think I'll invite her to present her slides, and then we can move into some interactive question and answers. You're on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And it was wonderful. And yes, it is, this thing is a tribute from me to Dr. Agarwal, because yeah, we've had conversations about this as well. A lot about my healing work, my counseling work, as well as the nonviolent communication. So it's an honor for me to be here to share this with all of you. And so I will begin by just saying that I'm just happy to be here doing what I love best and sharing NVC. As Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, the founder of NVC, describes it, it's the language of life. And it is befitting that this program is held under the aegis of the Heart Care Foundation of India, because NVC is also known as the language of the heart and communicating from the heart. So let me just start with it and saying that communication is the fundamental building block of our everyday life. If we want to function well in society and to have meaningful relationships, we need to learn to communicate effectively with people around us. And so in whether it's in schools, we are taught maths, physics, chemistry, history, geography, all the subjects that go a long way to help us in making a living. But we're not really learning a very important life skill, which is communication, a skill that helps us to live our life as opposed to making a living in our lives. So in families, in classrooms, in offices, amongst friends, so many of our relationships suddenly blow up, and there is conflict, there are misunderstandings that result in name calling, in sulking, shouting, pushing, hitting, or just plain just making us very sad. And we're not, we just get the feeling that we're not being respected or regarded or heard or cared for or understood for our intentions, because whenever we say something with an intention and then somebody just doesn't understand and we have a misunderstanding. So I just want to know, because you're all teachers and students here, how many teachers here think that the students just don't listen to them? And how many students here think that their teachers and parents don't understand them or are being too focused on grades and studies? And I'm sure there are many students here, many of you children here who've said to yourself or said out loud in frustration, "Oof, mom," or if there are teachers here or moms here who just despaired over the behavior of the child and said, "I just give up. I just can't get through to this person, this child, and how do I even connect with them?" And these are our daily interactions. And these small daily interactions can lead to bigger conflicts that are all a part of our relationships between parent and child, between siblings, between friends, amongst colleagues in offices, in schools, between teachers and the students, between the teachers themselves. You just wonder, what is the source of this conflict? According to Marshall Rosenberg, all anger and all dissatisfaction is an inability to express ourselves. What is missing foremost is the connection with ourselves. We don't understand what we are needing in the moment. And because that makes us uncomfortable, we resort to harmful behavior, which is anger or violence or abuse. And when we're unable to understand what's happening within us or around us, and that is basically the source of all conflict. on the small scale or the large scale. That's where it all comes from. And this is where NVC comes in, the nonviolent communication. The first step in NVC is to connect with ourselves, understand what's going on within us so that we can express ourselves, connect with and to name our feelings and try to understand where these feelings are coming from. From the time we're little, we're just taught to suppress our emotions. And we're told, no, you're a boy, you must not cry. You're a boy, you can't be scared. ऐसे थोड़ी ना बहादुर बनते हैं. And girls shouldn't get angry. ऐसे गुस्सा क्या थोड़ी ना दिखाते हैं. लड़कियां इतनी जोर से नहीं हंसती हैं. So we're just told to suppress our feelings. And we're also told things like, now it's time to go to sleep. Go to sleep. I mean, whether I'm feeling sleepy or not, it's time to sleep, so we sleep according to the time. So with the result where we are not connected with what we are actually feeling, we disconnected from ourselves and we lose that connection on how to express what it is, because we are not sure whether these feelings will be accepted. So NVC, as set by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, that really helps us to get in touch with our feelings. And this is what Marshall Rosenberg calls being in awareness to what's alive in us. What is happening in the moment? He says that all our actions, everything we say or not say, everything we do or not do, and that goes for the present, for the past, everything we have said or not said, or done or not done, or the future, whether we will do or not do, everything is an attempt to meet needs. And according to him, needs are going deeper from the heart, also going deeper into our belly. And all our actions are motivated by needs. And every single person has needs. And everyone's needs matter. He says needs are beautiful things. They are our life force. They're the ones that call us to action. I have a need for health, so I will go and exercise. So that is our need for action, to exercise. So every small thing that we do, it is to meet a need. Our needs are not a demand or a burden on us or on other people. These needs are a precious gift because they motivate us. They're actually helping us to live life. And at the core of NVC, therefore, is to understand our needs and how to best express our needs. And to understand our needs, we look towards our feelings, because feelings tell us what we are needing.
Sorry, you had mentioned you had some slides. Do you want to showcase those slides?
Yeah.
Do you need any help with that?
Is it coming across?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought I had shared them, but I noticed that I haven't.
Yeah, now we can see it.
You can see them?
Yeah.
So I'll just repeat them right from the beginning, that nonviolent communication is a language of life by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. And as I said, it is a language of the heart. It's the fundamental, communication is the fundamental building block for everyday life. And we have subjects that we learn in school to make a living, but there's also communication, which is to actually live our life. And as I said, in families, in classroom, amongst friends, everywhere, the relationships, they tend to blow up. And we have conflict in our everyday life. So this is basically, NVC is talking about what's alive in us. And we go to the needs and feelings. So over here, I just wanted to check with you, Nana. We had some lists of feelings and needs.
Yeah, I'm just
that
gonna
you can share them in the chat, or if you can also share them on the screen as.
I can share them either. I can just share them on the chat for anyone who needs it. This is an inventory of needs and inventory of feelings.
Yeah, and we're going to need them before the exercise.
Yeah.
So if you have them in the chat, maybe you can open them. I'll just give you a moment to just open those lists that you have.
So should I do it now?
Yeah, because in
I'm also put, 1 second. One would you want me to open first?
you can open the feelings one first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have a list of feelings, and that is divided into two. Feelings that we have when our needs are met, and feelings that we have when our needs are not met.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are two sets of feelings, needs. So when our needs are met, we feel happy and contented, mostly satisfied feelings. And there's dissatisfied feelings and when our needs are not met. Just an example of that is like if I am tired, I'm feeling tired. That's my feeling. But when I go deeper down, what is my need? My need could be for some sleep, it could be some rest or just relaxation. And if I meet that need with some rest, I get energized. My feeling is changed. But if I don't rest, I become even more tired, or maybe I become irritable or cranky. So then my needs are not met. So those feelings are dissatisfied, and they're the feelings of having rested and becoming energized. That is when my need has been met. So I'd like to invite you all to do a little activity with me. Let's try this out. I'll just give you 2 minutes to think of a situation from maybe the past 1 week in your life when somebody did or said something that you did not like. It could be in your home, it could be mom, dad, it could be a teacher, it could be a friend, it could be your child, if you're the teacher and the parent here. So just, I would like you to write it out yourself. It would just help if you write it out. Just think of a situation where somebody has said something or done something which you didn't like.
If I was in school at this time, I would think of 100 things because at that time, anyone here, students here will agree that every 5 minutes there are things that you feel that your parents may do or your teachers may do or your friends may do which you don't like. So especially to all the students here, please write down and think of something. Maybe you won't even need to go back 1 week. Anything that you do not like.
There's so many things that we are told. तुमने ये ठीक से नहीं किया, तुमने आज बेड नहीं बनाया, तुमने अपना कमरा ठीक नहीं किया, तुम कपड़े ऐसे फेंक देते हो, तुमने आज होमवर्क नहीं किया, तुमने आज ये नहीं किया. So many things that are told to us. So once you've written this out, I would just again now go a little deeper and say, what are your thoughts about it? About this person or the situation, what's coming up? Please be completely uncensored with that. Just whatever comes to mind. Whatever. You have another 2 minutes. What is your reaction? What comes into your head when somebody has said or done something you did not like? Give yourself a situation because it would help, whatever comes to mind. सबकी life में कुछ situations होती हैं. It could be anybody, and this is your personal work, so you don't have to share it with anybody. So whatever is coming up for you, you're welcome to just work with it. And this is where I would say that beyond this, NVC begins. Here is just the awareness of what is happening. And this is where we would normally react from, this place of whatever comes from for us, whatever our reaction is, that is what we will say, Are, what is this? And we just react immediately in this moment. But if we were to just say, okay, what am I feeling when this situation happens? And you have the list of feelings with you. Take a look. When some person has said or done something that has upset you, look at the list of feelings. Which list of the feelings are these on in the when your needs are met or needs are not met? And I think it would be just where needs are not met. So I'll give you another 2 minutes to just work with this. Once we've looked at our feelings and we've sort of made a list of our feelings, can we look at the list of needs, Nana?
Yeah.
So what was missing? What is it that you were needing? What was missing in this interaction that you had? What need of yours was not met that caused this feeling that you had? It could be something like care or understanding or respect or just to be heard or to be, just what is the needs? What are the needs? There's a long list over there for you. And this list is definitely not incomplete. It's not complete. There are so many needs in this world, and every individual would have a different one. It is not a comprehensive list, but it is all the needs that are listed here are universal. We all have these needs.
So how do you actually turn that negative emotion into a positive emotion?
I'll just help you with that.
Yeah.
So have we got our needs written out? What are the needs? Have you identified the needs? And then think about it and write it out as a sentence. Now I'm going to share the screen here again. So the list of needs, I think we will. I'm going to take away this list of needs, which all of you have in your chat anyway. And Can you see this slide now? To what is the
Not yet. You'll have to share your screen.
uh, yeah?
Yeah.
Can you see it? So
Yes.
let's write it out as a sentence. When, and then name the person, said this to me, I felt, and name your feeling here, whatever it was, that feeling that you were having. Whether it was angry, sad, hurt, or any of the others which was there. Because I was needing. And then you write out your need. Just think about it. Once you have connected with these feelings and needs, how does that make you feel now? This is it just sits with you for a little while. And as I said, we are not usually in awareness of our feelings and needs. We don't even go this far. We normally have reacted off the top of our head. We have not gone down. So if we say our head, that's where our thoughts are. And if somebody has said something, immediately we have a reaction. Hey, this person is so rude, or so, why are they doing this? And we have all sorts of names for this person. That's here in the head. If we go to feelings, that's our heart. And needs, we talk about being in our belly. So as I said, we don't usually go beyond our head, the feelings and needs, and we're not able to express what we feel or what we need. But we have just written it out. So here we take a breath and think, if this is true for me, then this would be true for the other person as well. When they have said this to me, whatever it is, then they must be feeling something, and there must be some need behind that, because every single person acts because there's a need. So when this person has said to me, what could be his feelings? And what could he be needing that he's not able to express, and they're expressing it in a negative way? Suppose we try to guess, could it be that he's feeling or she is feeling this because they're needing this? So this is how we do this. This is what Marshall Rosenberg calls. Earlier, we were talking about what is alive in us, what is alive in the other person. And this is how the communication begins, because we try to express that, hey, listen, this is what I'm feeling, and this is what happened. This is what I'm needing. And could it be this that you're feeling and needing? And that is how we can actually begin to communicate with each other, because the minute you tell the other person, is this what you're needing? And when you try to guess that, and then they also stop in their tracks and they say, hey, yeah, this is what I'm needing. And that's when you can connect with each other. When our needs are not met, our feelings are very uncomfortable. And that in turn makes us react in a manner that is harmful or unhelpful. So the natural reaction to someone being rude to us is to hurt them back, to say something to hurt them, or to sulk, or to withdraw. Whatever it is, any one of these situations is not going to be helpful to communication. And the cycle of hurting each other continues. And NVC helps us to break this cycle by understanding very quickly what we are feeling and needing, and what the other person is feeling and needing. And we will go to certain more examples as we go along.
So we actually have some students who raised, who put in the chat box what they are feeling. So maybe you could actually decode that for the children, that what is it their parents must be thinking when they're saying a certain thing.
Yeah.
So-
I list, yeah, we can take. So have you got an example? Would you read it out to me?
Yeah, one student has said, whenever I'm studying, no one sees me, but whenever I'm on the phone or television, everyone sees me and scolds me. Why is that? I'll give you another. I'm just going to give you 2, 3 examples. You can pick whichever is a good example to explain to everyone.
Yeah.
Another is when people call you out for, other students or other friends call you out for not being very good looking just because you wear spectacles, or you have braces or spectacles or anything like that. What could be the reason why someone on the other side is saying that to another student? That is another question that's coming up. And another thing is phone addiction. So how parents keep saying that you're always on your phone, but the students are saying nowadays we need to be on our phone to even study. So why is it that they don't understand that we are using the phone, or believing us that we are using our phone to study?
Yeah. So I'll take this last one, I think, which is very, very something which is very topical as well. As you said, everybody needs to be on the phone right now. It's a very natural thing for the parent to come and say, don't be so much on the phone. What is it, if we were to look at the child, and their feeling would be what? The feeling would be of frustration, or feeling of not being understood. This is the feeling of frustration, because the need is for that understanding that this is what is required right now. But if that is what we have to tell our parents, and our normal reaction would be to say, hey, come on, I need to do this. I need it this way. But that's still, we're not really getting down to the core of it and saying, when you say this to me, I feel very, very frustrated, because at the moment, I need this for work. And I would like you to understand that. And I would really like to be heard on this. And if there is I would just like to know, what is it that is troubling you about it? How is it for you? So is it that you think that I'm wasting my time and you feel concerned about it? So is your feeling of concern for my well-being? And you would really are needing some sort of balance in this thing. And then the mom or the dad can say, yeah, that is what it is, or no. And even if the answer is no, that's great, because then the parent will actually start thinking, what is it that I'm needing? Why am I doing this? What am I doing? And then as he said, this leads to a dance of meeting the needs. Can we come to an agreement that this is what you will do on this many hours, this many moments, or whatever? Let's try to figure it out, and the communication can then begin. So if we understand the needs, instead of getting confrontational about it, we actually try to go connecting about it. So as we call it in NVC, instead of confrontation, we are moving to a place of carefrontation. So it is just caring for each other and understanding the other person, instead of getting angry with them for stopping us from doing something, and saying, okay, let me understand where you're coming from. Does this answer the question of the person who were asking? I just like them to say a yes or a no.
I think different students have written the thing. Also, another worry could be screen time, right? It could also be damaging someone's eyes. Everyone, a lot
So
of people are anyways thinking that because of school, you're already in front of the phone. And this answers the person's question also, who's saying that whenever I'm watching TV for leisure, my parents are reacting. That could also be because they're concerned.
So it's coming from a place of concern, because the need is for well-being. That is the well-being. And I think, if we are able to then say, okay, I need some relaxation as well. So is it possible that it would be okay for me to have an hour of screen time beyond the school time, so that we can, and then we can, sort of, it's called the dance of needs. Understanding each other's needs and going on from there.
I think that's a great example. So maybe, I'll take the questions after, once you're done with your presentation.
Yeah, so this is the feelings and the needs part of it, which is one aspect of it. Another one would be judgments. And so being in awareness of feelings and needs is just being aware of what's alive in us. And I do a lot of work in mediation, and I always ask people to go deeper in the layers of, he said this and she said this, and when I say this, then she says this, and it just goes back and forth. But when we look, we're actually, there is a pattern to it. We have judgments. And I noticed this even about myself when I started, when I was introduced to NVC, I began to notice how many of my thoughts are in a judgmental language. I noticed I was judgmental about people, about things, about events, and even about myself. And I began to write these judgmental thoughts down to see that, what is happening in my head. And some of the things I noticed myself saying, hey, that person is so selfish. Oh, come on, so lazy. It's all because of you. This is happening all because of you. That is a common thing to say. And I'll say, look at something and say, oh, that dress is so ugly. Oh gosh, how can I be so stupid? That's another one of, what an idiotic thing I said. Why did I do that? Or even about things around us. Oh, it's so hot, it's so cold. This tea doesn't taste good. This food is not, this is so boring. And on. There's blame, there's criticism, there's name calling, there's complaining. That's what's happening in our head all day long. And when we use this, we're implying, especially when we're talking to the other person, saying, you're so selfish, we're implying that the other person is wrong or they're behaving wrongly. And we are describing, so they're not acting according to my values or my beliefs, then they're being selfish or stupid and these are just my thoughts. My thoughts, that's all it is. And what we call in NVC, is my screen visible? Yeah. We call them jackal thoughts. And we are just describing things as they exist in our heads. And this is our reality, not the reality, because the other person can have a completely different thought. A dress that I call ugly may not be so for another person. This is just our judgments are our interpretations and not necessarily another person's interpretation. Let's say two of us see a movie and I say, wow, very interesting. And the other person says, what a boring movie. Well, the movie is neither interesting or boring. It's just a movie. And the judgment is our interpretation. It's a description of our experience of the movie, which incidentally can be different on different days, depending on my mood. I may find the same thing interesting one day and not interesting another day. That again is there. So it's interpretation, and we have to be aware that these interpretations can change. And we're talking about a movie. We can have a differing opinion about a person. We can have interpretations about a person. And when we have these interpretations, they will affect our feelings. And they will come in the way of everything, of our relationships. We create these enemy images of people. Say, this one is like this one, I just don't like this person. That's it. So wo enemy image jo hota hai, we never really understanding that there's a person behind it. We just have our judgments and we're seeing them through that prism of judgments. And even judgmental about our experiences, and that impacts our joy in life. And I'm constantly complaining, ye acha nahi hai, wo acha nahi hai. I find fault in everything and I'm critical about everything. How am I going to enjoy my life? It's really impacting my joy. And these judgments really play out in our head all the time, continuously. It's almost like a war zone inside our head. And according to Marshall, again, we go back to Marshall every time. Marshall Rosenberg says, behind every judgment, there is an unmet need. Because if something is not sitting with us right, we will have judgments. And about something that we are needing. And if someone judges us, it's not about us. And if we're judging someone, it's not about them. It's something inside of the person who's thinking these thoughts. And we need to see simply an expression of the need that we have or that they have, and just not being able to express that need. Now, suppose I want to spend some time with a friend and I ask them, let's go see a movie. And they're not able to. And they say, no, I'm busy, I can't. So, and they have said this repeatedly. So you say, oh, you never have time for me. You're always so busy. And I always have to make the time for whenever you want. But you've become very selfish. Now, when I say all this, would my friend really want to spend any more time with me if I'm complaining like that? They may, out of guilt, maybe. Hey, listen, I'm guilt tripping them, so they will come. But instead, we can just say, hey, I really want to spend some time with you, which is expressing a need, because I'm really missing a connection with you. Then I'm expressing a feeling. I may not get it, but I still have a better chance at getting the time and attention if I put it that way than saying, hey, you're so selfish, you don't have time for me. So it's just the way that we express ourselves. If we tell them, this is our feeling and this is what we need, we have more chance of getting our needs met. So let's see another example. You have your mom who's a mom says, you never listen to me. What is the need? What is the need behind those words of your mom? She's not being heard, that she's not being understood, that she's having to repeat something again and again. And that is exhausting. She's feeling exhausted for having repeated herself. And that need to be heard and understood is not being met. And it can be the other way around. If I were to say to my mom, you never listen to me, it's because I need. And I think there was another one of, I'm not seen. When I'm studying, nobody's seeing it. And then they tell me that you haven't done it. So I am not being seen, or I'm not being acknowledged for the amount of effort that I'm putting in. That's my need. And because these words are said as judgments, the person is likely to hear criticism. And criticism, the minute you hear blame and criticism, it immediately goes into self-defense and counter-attacking. And there is no connection. So the more directly we can connect our feelings and needs, the easier it is for the other person to respond compassionately to us. So when you're communicating, you state, what is it that you need from the person? Try to be as specific as possible. So, mom, I'd really like you to know and to see me when I am studying. I would like to be seen for that. Because when you don't see it, and then when I hear you say that I'm not studying, it's very painful for me. And it's very frustrating. I'd really like to be seen for the effort I'm putting in. So maybe you would like to spend some time with me, hearing me when I'm talking about work. And if you want to check with me, maybe you can check with me on how much I have studied instead of just passing a statement saying, hey, you're not studying. Right? Another example is, if a friend is always late, and I say, it's so annoying, you're always late. You mess up my days. You mess up all my schedules. That's one way of saying it. And the other, if we translate that into NVC, it would say, I feel very angry when you're late because I'd like to start the meeting on time. When I start late, it disrupts my schedule. So the next time, can I please request you to be on time so that we can start on time? And if that is not possible, would you let me know so that I can make other arrangements? I'm more likely that I'm going to be able to get a connection rather than saying, hey, you're always late and you're always messing up my schedule. It's only going to cause the other person to react. And that goes into another aspect of NVC, which is framing a request in a way that our needs will be met. But I think that may take a little while. So just the examples are there. Can I please request you to be on time, or mom, would you please hear me? These are the kind of things which, these are the examples of how we frame requests. And I can maybe give a couple of examples when we're doing the question and answers, but I think going into requests would be. So I just want to leave you with an activity that you can begin with as a start of your NVC practice. Maybe just keep a notebook with you at all times. Take out a few moments in a day. If you want to do it many times a day, or if you want to spend maybe 10 minutes at the end of the day, take out a few moments to write out any judgmental thoughts that you may have had about a person, about a thing, an event, or yourself. You can do that as you get the thoughts, or sit down and just recall the thoughts. Be uncensored about them, because that gets you an idea of what is happening in your head. It's very important to be in awareness of what we are thinking, because our thinking is impacting our feelings. At the same time, our needs are impacting our feelings, so we can become quite a mess. And then let's sometimes sit with that notebook and think of what were the unmet needs behind these judgments. Our attempt in NVC is to move from the head to the heart, or as I say, moving from the nut to the gut. And NVC is a heart-based communication. So we move from jackal thinking, as I said, that all judgmental thoughts we call in NVC, we call them jackal thinking. And we use another animal, analogy of another animal in NVC, and that is a giraffe. So, which has the largest heart in the animal kingdom. And we try to move from being jackals to becoming giraffes. And giraffes are gentle animals. They have a higher perspective on things. And yet they're not pushovers. Huh? They've got a very strong kick. NVC is not about being nice. We're not trying to be nice over here. We're trying to be real, being connected, being aware. That's what NVC is. And as we move from the head to the heart, we choose to look at things from the prism of compassion. NVC is the language of understanding ourselves and others, being in awareness of our feelings and needs, being aware of what is alive in us, aware of what is alive in the other person. It's a language of empathy and self-empathy. And it's also known as the giraffe language, or compassionate communication. That is, I think, as far as any questions? Anything else that you want to bring up?
Anyone has any questions, if you can please raise your hand and we'll give you the opportunity. I know there are a lot of students here who've been sending me personal messages as well. The students have a lot of complaints with parents. They have complaints with teachers, how things happen. Also frustration. I think what I can sense is a lot of frustration arising out of being at home during the lockdown, studying from home, not being able to meet everyone's friends. So, are there any students here who would want to come and share what they're going through, would want to ask any questions? Any of the principals who may want to know, or teachers who may want to know, or parents on how to communicate with the children, because the parents, the teachers, the principals are equally frustrated because they are also stuck at home. It's not anyone's style of working. So, if anyone has any questions, if you can raise your hands. Yes, Charu ma'am.
I think you're on mute. No?
Charu ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah, ma'am, I want to ask some question on behalf of my students. I've been interacting a lot with my female students, and being close to me, they at times tell me that at home they are not feeling that, having that feeling of being loved or being pampered the way a brother is. Most of the time, the girls are, ridiculed or being judged on the basis of looks or on the basis of their work or on the basis of marks. Somewhere, that feeling of not being wanted at times gets the girl child frustrated, even if she's studying. She only wants not to be judged. But at times they have this forever, whatever we do, we are asked, don't do this, don't do that. That kind
Mm.
of thing gives you a lack of independence. And then on the other hand, we tell them you have to become a corporate honcho, you have to become IAS. So at one side, you have so much expectation. On the other side, you are not giving the child the wings to fly. So
Yeah.
how to balance it out? And ma'am, in my last 2 decades, I have literally sat with the parents and told them, please give them space. But probably in India, till now, giving space to a female student or a girl child or daughter, I think it has yet to take its full form. So in such a
Yes.
situation, as educators, I'm myself doing a lot of motivation work. What advice you give to handle these things to parents and to educators? Because they are the children are at a very vulnerable age. Once
Yes.
they form an opinion, it takes them years to unlearn.
Yes.
Once that thing comes in their system, so that is
Yes.
the big thing I really want to like help my students come out of it.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, I hear you. I hear you that this is very difficult. It's a difficult time. As a lot of people have said, that being stuck at home is very frustrating for parents, for teachers, for students, for children. I mean, the whole families. It's very difficult. I mean, everybody's getting on each other's nerves by now. And yeah, specifically addressing the situation that you said about the girl child. Yes, I agree. The girl, it's as a society, we have not reached the space of to be able to give that kind of freedom. We do have expectations, but we're not giving them the same opportunities, and we're not giving them the same encouragement and uh, to this thing. So I just want to know, when you say that you're speaking to the children, how is it and what is it? Are you being able to connect with the parents and ask them what is happening there?
Ma'am, I have a direct connect with my students. They come and tell me the darkest of their secrets, being the person I am. And I literally sit with them and try to analyze. Like there was this girl, she said that every time I do something, somebody or the other pokes his nose or makes fun of me. So I think it's better I don't do it.
Hmm.
Let me not do it. Now the child is giving up because the
Yeah,
child is feeling the fear of
absolutely.
being judged. So I literally sat with the child, then talked with the parents, and they didn't understood what I was actually trying to say,
Yeah.
because according to them they were doing well. Then I literally had to give them examples that if they just take a step back, watch the child bloom, they'll see the beautiful results.
Yes,
But ma'am,
absolutely.
yes, they do listen, but then you have to have a lot of patience to first make them understand. And honestly, Miss Bose, I feel in India, we need to educate both the parents and the students.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And we do have workshops for parents as well as students. I think it's very important. On many of these cases, I think you'd be able to intervene on the at the level of the student themselves and to tell them, as I said earlier, when somebody is having a judgment about you, it's not something about you, it's about them. What are they needing? So once we understand, okay, this judgment makes me feel this, this is what I need. How can I make that request of that person to say that? But before I make the request of the person, can I try to understand where are they coming from? What is happening with them? What is making them say this? Once you have that tool, be able to do self-empathy. Okay, I'm feeling very frustrated because my mother today said, you do this, this, this. I really want some autonomy. I really want some independence. I really want the freedom and to the ability to be able to do something. Uh, this is what I'm really needing. But what is it that is behind my mother's thoughts? What is she saying? What is she doing? And why is she saying it? Is there any way that I can connect with her and go and ask her that, and tell her that when you're saying this, this is what I feel. And this is where I really would like is from you is maybe some encouragement at some point. That's what I would like.
Ma'am, I would like to just ask one more thing. In my whole journey, I've seen some of the students who have seen domestic violence at home before pandemic as well. Somewhere I believe they develop a certain kind of negativity towards life. They carry that forward in the school, in the extra. They will never participate in the extracurricular, and all of the time they are in that angry zone, probably not happy with life. And at times, when we try to get into their internal system and we ask them, "What's wrong with you?" Everything is fine. They just try to shrug it off because every evening they are probably hearing abuses at home. And after a while, you see the child speaking the same with his even peer group. So in such a situation, the children are very badly affected because they are seeing probably their father bashing up the mother, and maybe the father using this kind of language at home. And the parents don't realize what negative impact it is having on a young mind.
Yes.
So in such a situation, when they are seeing domestic violence, financial crisis at home, these some of the factors I've seen, they are directly responsible for the violent communication and even
Yes.
violent behavior.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are a lot of frustrations in our society, and these are also social evils because domestic violence and everything is an accepted norm in our society. And so it's not possible for us to try to change it immediately. And it is over a period of time of spreading the message of this nonviolence and to give the tools of the nonviolent communication to the students, if possible to the parents, but definitely to the students so that they can go forward ahead, at least the next generation we can sort of work with. And as far as possible, definitely workshops with parents to try to bring awareness. And it's only through awareness that we'll be able to take this forward.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll end because we're already at 5:03. Maybe we can take one last question.
Yeah, there's one question which is actually not from me, but one of my staff members who is actually attending the session. So her question is that the present generation is greatly driven and influenced by aggressive stances, language, and the anonymity has given them some sort of freedom from consequences. So, how to make non-violent communication feasible or favorable alternative to these youngsters?
Definitely. I would say that most of these people have lost self connection, be connected with themselves, to know really what is with their own grounding, as they say, because they're just flying and they think this can be done and that can be done, and the aspirations are very, very high. And it's good to have aspirations, of course, but there is also some grounding, which means that you do have empathy and you do have some compassion as you go along as well. And that connection seems to be missing. And yeah, so we need to promote. And as I said, we are teaching a lot of things in schools to make a living, but to live a life of compassion, to live a life of empathy. Yeah, we need to bring this. I constantly say that this needs to be brought into the curriculum with the students so that they can have that self connection, to have that understanding, to have the NVC tools, be able to take this forward. And worldwide, there is a movement to bring NVC to schools, children, to workplaces, to in society, just to make sure that we have a compassionate space.
How do you actually, explain the child the difference between connecting with oneself and self-awareness?
So, how would you describe self awareness?
Normally, we talk about self awareness a lot in schools, though we talk very less about connecting with oneself. And self awareness is most of the time referred to as identification of your own strengths and weaknesses so that you build on your strength and you improve on your weaknesses. But I think connecting to oneself is, I think, is an extension of that, and maybe the children need to be taught this difference. I think
I would put it differently. I would say self awareness is that in every moment we have a choice. In every moment, we have a choice on how we respond or how we act in a situation, and what the choices we make and the consequences of those choices. And that is self-awareness.
So that's a pretty broader definition. And I don't think we have been using this definition. So thank you so much. We'll try to, of course, broaden our vision about this as well. Thank you so much.
If there are no other questions, can I ask Pratima ma'am to conclude the session, please?
Thank you so much, Naina ma'am. We express our deep gratitude to Ms. Biraj Bose for a very enriching session on non-violent communications. She's the counselor and founder member of Non-Violent Communication Trust. Thanks, ma'am, for bringing to fore that feelings are when our needs are satisfied, which can be like feeling affectionate or confident or inspired or peaceful or engaged or gratitude or joyful. So many words you have introduced to us about feelings and about needs, and one could really correlate with all the words that you have shared with us. And I particularly liked, the way you told about confrontation being called as carefrontation. So it's very interesting that when we replace the word confrontation by carefrontation and we try to resolve the disputes. Also, you've talked about judgments, which are called Jekyll thoughts in non-violent communication. And a judgment is our interpretation of our own experiences. So it's basically our own mindset which decides how we take things and how we talk about things. So, and you also introduced that non-violent communication is based on the principle of ahimsa, the natural state and compassion when no violence is present in the heart, as said by Marshall Rosenberg. So we are pretty new to this concept, but then it has been very enriching to know about it. You also told about the giraffe language, which is compassionate communication, and I feel that is the need of the hour. I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. K.K. Agarwal's Heart Care Foundation of India for organizing this very innovative and enriching live session. Our special thanks to Ms. Naina Agarwal Ahuja, Trustee, Heart Care Foundation of India, and founder Talking Point Communication for organizing a very useful session for students, teachers, and parents. Our special thanks again to Ms. Biraj Bose, counselor, certified clinical hypnotherapist, for a very, very enriching session and talking about concepts which are relatively new to us. Thanks to Principal Geeta Gangwani, Bal Bharti Public School, Rohini, and Ma'am Charu Baveja, Social Science Teacher, SD Public School, for co-hosting the session. And of course, always thanks a lot, Sapna, for coordinating the session for us. We would express our special thanks to all parents, teachers, and students of 3 schools and all other audience who have joined us and taken benefit from this session. We really look forward to more enriching sessions for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.